For our last sample, sample number 10, we are using one 7x7 square to create your waistband casing. In your book, it tells you to follow the formula. The elastic width plus a 1/2 inch equals your casing width. So on your sample notebook, it tells you that we are pretending that we have a 1 inch wide elastic. So that means if we do 1 inch wide elastic plus a 1/2 inch, we need 1.5 inch casing. So we are folding to the wrong side 1/4 inch down from our edge and pressing. Once we have our initial 1/4 inch fold, we're then going to measure down 1.5 inches using our seam gauge because we need a 1.5 inch casing. So our fold, when we fold this, is going to be 1.5 inches. Just like this. We're now going to put a few pins in to keep our fabric straight and even when we sew. Remember, our pins go in perpendicular to our edge, and it's only a 7x7 sample, so we don't really need a ton. This is going to create our waistband casing. When this sample is completely finished, we're pretending that this is the top of your pants. We are actually going to be sewing across this bottom edge right here, back stitching at both sides. And if this was our pants, we would insert our elastic in here, and that would create the casing for our pants. We are now ready to sew. I'm double checking my settings, making sure that my stitch length is set to 2.5, my stitch width is set to 5, and my pattern selector is set to number 1. And then I am sewing as close as I can to this bottom edge. Approximately 1/8 inch away would be a good choice. So I'm flipping my fabric here. I flipped my fabric around so that my fold can line up with the inside edge right here of my presser foot. That's going to give me 1/8 inch away from the edge of my fabric. Don't forget to backstitch. And you're stitching all the way across until you can backstitch at the other side. Lift your presser foot. Take your fabric off of your machine. Remove your pins from your sample. Trim your threads here and here. And then staple this into your sample notebook. This is creating, like I showed you before, this casing. This is creating this opening, which if this were your pants or your shorts, we would slide your elastic in there, pull it tight until it fits you, and then close up our openings. From the front, from the right side of the fabric, I should only see a nice, evenly straight stitching line. And that is the end of your sample notebook.